The stars glittered against the vast darkness of space as the massive draconian warship cut through the void. Admiral Kraftfull stood on the command deck, his scaled skin reflecting the blue glow of the ship's monitors. His yellow eyes narrowed as he studied the holographic display of a small blue planet. 37 star systems conquered, he said to his second-in-command. And this will be 38. The Draconians had ruled the galaxy for over 1,000 years. Nature had blessed them with every advantage. Thick armored scales, powerful muscles, razor-sharp claws, and senses so keen they could detect a prey's fear from across a battlefield. Evolution had crafted them into perfect hunters, and their technology had only enhanced these gifts. "Tell me about this world," Kraftfull demanded. Officer Vex bowed her head, the spines along her neck flattening in respect. "The natives call it Earth. They are bipedal mammals with no natural defenses. Their technology is primitive by our standards, though they have achieved limited space travel." Kraftfull flicked his tail with interest. "Any notable resources?" "Water. More than we've seen on any world. And the planet has a remarkable diversity of life." The Admiral walked closer to the hologram, circling it slowly. "The High Command has authorized first contact and assessment. Prepare a delegation." Across space, on the blue planet below, alarms blared in the Earth Defense Force headquarters. Lisa Ward rushed into the control room, her boots squeaking on the polished floor as she came to a halt. "What's the situation?" she asked, brushing her short brown hair from her eyes. General Frank Murphy pointed to the main screen. "We detected a large object entering the outer solar system 3 hours ago. It's big, Captain. Bigger than anything we've ever built." Lisa's heart raced, but her face remained calm. 12 years in the EDF had taught her to hide her fear. "Movement pattern. Deliberate," replied Communications Officer Sam Reeves. "It's not an asteroid. This thing is under power and heading straight for us." Dr. Alan Rivera entered the room carrying a tablet. His eyes were wide behind his glasses. "The object just sent a transmission. It's a first contact message." The room fell silent. Humanity had wondered for centuries if they were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer. "What does it say?" Lisa asked. Alan's hands trembled slightly. "It identifies them as the Draconian Empire. They're requesting a meeting with Earth's leaders." General Murphy frowned. "Empire. I don't like the sound of that." Lisa studied the grainy image of the approaching ship. Something about its design reminded her of a shark. All smooth lines and predatory efficiency. "Neither do I," she said quietly. "But we can't refuse to meet them." Within hours, leaders from around the world had gathered. Lisa found herself appointed to head the diplomatic team, with Dr. Rivera as her science advisor. "There's something not right about this," Alan said as they prepared to board the shuttle that would take them to the neutral meeting point. "I've analyzed their language patterns. There are undertones." Lisa checked her sidearm, making sure it was secure in its holster. "What kind of undertones?" "The way predators speak to prey," Alan said grimly. "I've studied Earth languages for years, and there are patterns that appear when a dominant group addresses a subordinate one. Their message has those patterns." Lisa nodded. She had felt the same unease, but couldn't explain it. "Let's hope you're wrong. But if you're right..." She didn't finish the sentence. The shuttle engines roared to life. Through the window, Lisa could see the stars, and among them, the massive shape of the Draconian ship waiting. Humanity's first contact with alien life was about to begin, and Lisa Ward couldn't shake the feeling that they were mice about to meet a cat. The neutral meeting station floated in Earth's orbit, hastily prepared for this historic encounter. Lisa Ward stood with her team as the airlock door slid open. She kept her face calm even as her heart pounded against her ribs. Admiral Kraftfull ducked to enter the room. He stood nearly 8 feet tall, his scaled body radiating power. Behind him came 5 other Draconians, each carrying what looked like ceremonial weapons. "Welcome to Earth space," Lisa said, stepping forward. I'm Captain Lisa Ward of the Earth Defense Force. Kraftfull's yellow eyes studied her. His mouth, filled with sharp teeth, curved into what might have been a smile. "So small," he said in perfect English. His voice sounded like stones grinding together. "Your species is even more fragile than our scans suggested." Dr. Alan Rivera shifted uncomfortably beside Lisa. She could feel his tension. "Size isn't everything, Admiral," Lisa replied evenly. "We're eager to establish peaceful relations between our worlds." The Draconian leader circled the human delegation slowly. Lisa was reminded of a tiger she had once seen at a zoo, pacing around its enclosure, eyeing visitors. "Tell me, Captain Ward, how many wars has your species fought among itself?" Kraftfull asked suddenly. Lisa hesitated. "Too many, but we've learned from our mistakes." The Admiral made a sound that might have been laughter. "No, you've simply never met a true predator before." The atmosphere in the room changed instantly. Lisa's hand moved toward her weapon, but she was too slow. One of the Draconians leaped forward with shocking speed, knocking 2 Earth security officers to the ground. "What is the meaning of this?" Lisa demanded, pulling her sidearm. Kraftfull's voice was cold. "Assessment complete. Your species has been classified as suitable for servitude. Resistance is not advised." Lisa fired her weapon. The energy pulse hit Kraftfull's chest, but seemed to barely affect him. His scales glowed briefly where the shot landed. "Run," she shouted to her team as she fired again. Chaos erupted in the meeting room. The Draconians moved with frightening speed, tearing through the human security team. Dr. Rivera grabbed Lisa's arm and pulled her toward the exit. "Emergency protocol." Lisa yelled into her communicator as they ran. "All ships engage. This is not a drill." They reached the shuttle bay just as an explosion rocked the station. Through the viewport, Lisa could see Earth ships firing at the Draconian vessel. The alien ship was returning fire, its weapons far more powerful than anything humans had developed. "We need to get back to the Defiant," Lisa said as they scrambled into a shuttle. The small craft pulled away from the dying station. Through the windows, they watched in horror as 3 Earth defense ships exploded under Draconian fire. "They were playing with us the whole time," Dr. Rivera said, his voice shaking. "Studying us like lab rats." Lisa gripped the shuttle controls tightly. "Get me through to any surviving Earth vessels." The communication system crackled. Sam Reeves' voice came through, broken by static. "Captain Ward, thank God. The orbital defense stations are gone. The alien ship is." His voice cut off abruptly. The shuttle shuddered as debris from a destroyed Earth ship struck its hull. Lisa corrected their course, heading for where she last knew the Defiant was positioned. "Can anything hurt them?" she asked Rivera. The scientist was reviewing data on his tablet. "Their scales absorb energy weapons, but I noticed something when you fired." There was a reaction. A frequency issue, maybe. On the Draconian ship, Admiral Kraftfull watched the destruction with satisfaction. Beside him, Officer Vex monitored the battle. "Minimal casualties, Admiral," she reported. "Their weapons are ineffective against our armor." Kraftfull flicked his tail. "As expected. Begin landing operations. I want their leaders captured." "Admiral," Vex said, her voice changing. "One of their ships is still operational. The one called Defiant." Kraftfull's eyes narrowed. "The female captain's vessel." "Yes, and our sensors detect her shuttle approaching it now." The Admiral stared at the tactical display. Something unexpected flickered inside him. A feeling he had never experienced in all his battles across the stars. It was the faintest trace of doubt. "Let them run," he said dismissively. "They will learn, as all species do, that resistance against the Draconians is futile." But as he watched the tiny human shuttle disappear behind Earth's moon, Kraftfull couldn't shake the memory of Lisa Ward's eyes. She hadn't shown fear. She had shown anger. And somewhere deep in his predator's brain, he recognized that as dangerous. The EDF Defiant drifted behind the dark side of the moon, running on minimal power. Inside the ship's laboratory, Dr. Alan Rivera hadn't slept in 36 hours. His eyes were red and his hands shook slightly as he studied the readings on his screen. "I got something," he called out as Lisa Ward entered the room. Lisa looked worse than Alan. A cut above her right eye had been hastily bandaged, and her uniform was still stained with blood from the battle on the station. "Show me," she said, leaning over his shoulder. Alan pointed to a graph on his screen. "When your weapon hit the Draconian Admiral, his scales absorbed the energy. But look at this frequency pattern." There was a reaction. Lisa squinted at the complex data. "What am I looking at?" "Their nervous system responded to a specific frequency in our weapons. It was too low to do real damage, but it caused pain." Alan's tired face showed a hint of excitement. "Captain, they evolved as predators. Their senses are incredibly sharp, much more sensitive than ours." Lisa began to understand. "So they can be overloaded." "Exactly. We need to modify our weapons to emit pulse frequencies that will overwhelm their senses." The ship's intercom crackled. "Captain, to the bridge. Urgent." On the bridge, Communications Officer Tyler Grant sat at his station, his face grim. "The Draconians have landed troops in major cities. They're rounding up government officials." Lisa stared at the tactical display. Red dots showed Draconian positions spreading across Earth's surface. "Any word from High Command?" she asked. Tyler shook his head. "Most channels are down, but we're picking up scattered resistance. Some military units are still fighting." The ship's engineer, Olivia Mason, entered the bridge. Her dark skin was smudged with grease, and her curly hair was tied back tightly. "Captain, Dr. Rivera shared his findings with me," she said. "I think I can modify our weapons to target the Draconians' sensory weaknesses, but I need time." Lisa nodded. "How long?" 6 hours for handheld weapons, 12 for the ship's main systems." Lisa turned to the tactical display again. One blinking blue dot caught her attention. "What's this signal from Montana?" she asked. Tyler adjusted his controls. "It's from Major Kevin Phillips. His Mountain Special Forces unit is still operational. They'd been hitting Draconian scout ships." "Get him on the channel," Lisa ordered. A minute later, Major Phillips' voice came through, breaking with static. "Captain Ward, we thought everyone in orbit was dead." "Not yet," Lisa replied. "We're working on a way to hurt these lizards." "What's your situation?" "We've taken down 3 of their scout ships using conventional explosives. Big enough blasts seem to disorient them." Kevin's voice dropped lower. "And Captain, we've captured one alive." The bridge fell silent. Lisa exchanged shocked looks with her crew. "How?" she demanded. "Cave in. Got separated from its pack. These things don't do well alone. They get confused, disoriented. They're pack hunters through and through." Lisa's mind raced with possibilities. "Keep it secure. We're coming to you. Send coordinates." After ending the transmission, Lisa turned to Olivia. "Change of plans. Get me one modified weapon in 2 hours. We're going groundside." While the Defiant prepared, the situation on Earth grew worse. Draconian troops established control centers in major cities. Their ships patrolled the skies, shooting down any aircraft that attempted to fly. In his command center, established in what was once the White House, Admiral Cravthul received troubling news. 3 scout ships lost. He growled at the messenger. "How is this possible?" Officer Vex lowered her head. "The ships were destroyed by primitive explosives, and 1 scout is missing." Cravthul's tail lashed angrily, knocking over a human artifact. "Find out who is responsible. No species has ever captured a Draconian soldier alive." He walked to the window and looked out at the burning city. The conquest had been easy, too easy. These humans were soft, with their weak bodies and simple weapons. Yet something nagged at him. The missing scout, the destroyed ships. The feeling grew stronger, not quite fear, but discomfort. Send a full hunting pack to the last known location of our missing scout, he ordered. I want the humans responsible brought to me alive. I wish to understand them before they die. What Kraftful didn't know was that understanding humans would be the beginning of the end for his certainty, and for the Draconians' belief in their invincibility. The Montana mountains were covered in a light dusting of snow as Lisa's shuttle touched down in a hidden valley. Major Kevin Phillips greeted her with a firm handshake. He was a tall man with a weathered face and sharp eyes that missed nothing. "Glad you made it, Captain," he said, leading her toward a cave entrance. "We've been hit twice by Draconian patrols. They're looking for something." "They're looking for their missing soldier," Lisa replied. "And for you. You've got them worried." Kevin smiled grimly. "Good." Inside the cave, Lisa met Kevin's team, 20 soldiers who had escaped the initial attack. They had set up a makeshift base with stolen Draconian equipment mixed with human technology. "Where's the prisoner?" Lisa asked. Kevin led her deeper into the cave system. "We keep it separate from the main group. These aliens give off a smell when they're angry. Makes you feel afraid." They stopped at a heavy metal door that had once been part of a bank vault. Through a small window, Lisa could see the Draconian soldier. It was smaller than Admiral Kraftful, but still imposing. Its scales were a darker green, and one of its arms was bandaged. "Has it spoken?" Lisa asked. "Not a word, but it watches everything we do." Kevin handed Lisa a modified weapon that Olivia had sent down with her. "Your engineer says this should work. The alien won't be able to stand the frequency it emits." Lisa took the weapon. "Let me talk to it first." Inside the cell, the Draconian hissed as Lisa entered. Its yellow eyes tracked her every move. "My name is Captain Lisa Ward," she said clearly. "What is yours?" The alien remained silent, but Lisa could see its nostrils flaring, taking in her scent. "We don't want this war," Lisa continued. "Your people attacked us without provocation." The Draconian finally spoke, its voice surprisingly soft. "We are Draconians. We do not need provocation to take what is ours. Earth is not yours. All worlds belong to the strongest species." The alien tilted its head. "That is the law of nature." Lisa moved closer. "On Earth, we've learned that strength comes in many forms. Physical power is just one of them." The Draconian made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your philosophy will not save you from our claws, human." Lisa raised the modified weapon. "Maybe not, but this might." She fired at the wall near the Draconian. The weapon made no sound that human ears could detect, but the effect on the alien was immediate. It fell to the ground, writhing and covering its ear holes with its clawed hands. Lisa lowered the weapon after 5 seconds. The Draconian lay gasping on the floor. "That was at low power," Lisa said. "Tell me about your invasion fleet. How many ships? What are your plans?" The alien looked up at her with something new in its eyes. Not just pain, but surprise. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., Admiral Kraftful prepared for his largest assault yet. 50 ships would attack the human military base in Colorado, where resistance was strongest. "The attack begins in 6 hours," he told his commanders. "This will break their remaining military strength." Officer Vex approached cautiously. "Admiral, we've lost contact with the hunting pack sent to the northern mountains." Kraftful's tail lashed angrily. "How many?" 15 of our best hunters." The Admiral felt that strange sensation again, the one he had no name for. Humans were prey. They were food. They were servants. They were not a threat. Yet something was happening that he had never experienced in all his campaigns across the stars. The humans were fighting back, and they were winning. "Launch the attack now," he ordered. "No more delays." As Draconian ships rose into the air across America, Lisa Ward received the information she needed from the captive. She immediately contacted the Defiant. "Olivia, are the ship's systems modified?" Olivia's voice came through clearly. "Just finished, Captain. The main cannons should emit the frequency at full power." "Good." Target these coordinates. Lisa sent the location of the Draconian staging area. And contact any Earth forces still fighting. Tell them we have a way to hurt these predators. The Draconian prisoner watched Lisa with new understanding. Its species had conquered worlds across the galaxy, bringing terror to all they encountered. But these humans did not submit. They adapted. They studied their enemy and found weaknesses. For the first time in the history of the Draconian Empire, the hunters were becoming the hunted. Admiral Krafthull sat alone in his quarters, watching recordings of human history on the screens around him. Hours of warfare, conquest, and survival played before his yellow eyes. He had ordered his intelligence officers to gather this information days ago, but only now did he understand its importance. They fight themselves constantly, he muttered, yet they survive. They adapt. One recording showed ancient humans hunting large animals by simply following them until the creatures collapsed from exhaustion. Another showed humans surviving in frozen wastelands, burning deserts, and dense jungles. Krafthull paused the recordings when Officer Vex entered the room. The attack on the Colorado base has failed, she reported, her voice low and fearful. They were waiting for us. They had weapons that hurt us. Krafthull's claws dug into the arm of his chair. Impossible. Their technology is primitive. They modified it somehow. Vex continued. The weapons emit a sound we cannot hear, but it causes intense pain to our nervous systems. Many warriors fled the battlefield. Fled. Krafthull stood up, his full height making Vex shrink back. Draconians do not flee. There's more, Vex said. The orbital sensors have detected their ship, the Defiant. It's attacking our vessels using the same technology. Outside the main Draconian command ship, the space battle had turned chaotic. The EDF Defiant, once thought destroyed, now moved aggressively through the Draconian fleet. Its weapons had been modified to emit the special frequency that overloaded Draconian senses. On the Defiant's bridge, Lisa Ward watched as enemy ships broke formation, trying to escape the painful emissions. Target their flagship, she ordered. Full power on the frequency cannons. Dr. Rivera stood beside her, monitoring the effects of their new weapons. Their ships are scattering. The frequency is affecting their ability to coordinate. Lisa nodded. That's what Kevin's prisoner told us. They're pack hunters. They get confused when they can't communicate properly. Down on Earth, the ground war had also changed. Major Kevin Phillips led a force of 500 soldiers, all equipped with the modified weapons. They moved through a Draconian-occupied city, systematically driving the aliens back. They're retreating to the central square, Kevin reported over the radio to Lisa. We've never seen them retreat before. In his command center, Krafthull paced furiously. The tactical displays showed his forces losing ground across the planet. Reports came in from ship captains begging to retreat from the painful human weapons. We cannot be defeated by prey, he roared. Vex stood her ground despite her fear. Admiral, there is something you should see. She showed him new data about humans. They evolved as pursuit predators. They hunted by chasing prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. No other species in the galaxy hunts this way. Krafthull stared at the information. They are predators too. A different kind, Vex explained. They don't have our strength or speed, but they have endurance no other species possesses, and they can adapt to any environment. For the first time in his life, Admiral Krafthull felt a chill run down his spine. The humans weren't just fighting back, they were hunting his forces. They had studied the Draconians, found their weakness, and exploited it with ruthless efficiency. On the Defiant, Lisa received a new message from Earth. Government leaders from around the world had gathered in a secure bunker. They were coordinating a global counterattack using the new weapons. We're taking back our planet, the message said. All remaining military forces are being equipped with the frequency devices. Lisa turned to her crew. Prepare for boarding operations. We're going to capture one of their ships. Dr. Rivera looked shocked. Captain, that's extremely dangerous. So is letting them regroup, Lisa replied. "We need to press our advantage while they're confused." Major Phillips' voice came through on the radio. "My team is ready for space operations, Captain. Just say the word." Lisa looked at the tactical display. The largest Draconian ship, Craftful's flagship, was isolated from the others. "That one," she said, pointing. "We're going to capture their admiral." As the Defiant moved into position, Craftful watched on his screens. The human ship was approaching, and for the first time in his life, the great Draconian admiral felt fear. The Draconian flagship shuddered as the Defiant's weapons hit its shields. Inside, alarms blared and red emergency lights bathed the corridors in an eerie glow. Admiral Craftful gripped the arms of his command chair, fighting the pain that coursed through his body from the human's frequency weapons. "Call for reinforcements from the homeworld," he ordered, his voice trained. Officer Vex worked frantically at her station. "Message sent, Admiral. But the fleet will take 3 days to arrive." Craftful snarled in frustration. "We must hold until then." A new alarm sounded. Vex's eyes widened with shock. Boarding detected in lower hangar bay. On the lower levels of the Draconian ship, Lisa Ward led a team of 20 soldiers, including Major Kevin Phillips. All wore protective suits modified from Draconian technology. Each carried the new frequency weapons. "Remember, short bursts only," Lisa instructed as they moved through the alien corridors. "We need to capture, not kill." Kevin nodded, his weapon ready. "My team will secure the engine room. You head for the bridge." They split up at a junction. Lisa led her group upward, following the ship schematics they'd extracted from the captured Draconian soldier. Twice they encountered enemy patrols, but the frequency weapons quickly incapacitated the aliens. "They're not used to pain," Dr. Rivera observed as they moved past the stunned Draconians. "Their natural armor has always protected them." Lisa checked her handheld scanner. "Bridge is 2 levels up. They'll have heavier defenses there." Meanwhile, Craftful received reports of humans moving through his ship. The unthinkable was happening. Prey species were hunting predators on their own vessel. "Seal the bridge," he ordered, "and release the battle drones." Mechanical guardians with razor-sharp claws deployed from sealing compartments throughout the ship. Unlike their Draconian masters, these machines were immune to the frequency weapons. Kevin's team encountered the drones first. "Captain, we've got robotic resistance," he reported over the radio. "Frequency weapons ineffective. Switching to conventional firearms." The sound of gunfire echoed through the ship's communication system. Lisa led her team to a side passage. "Change of plans," she told them. "We need to reach the central computer core. Olivia, can you shut down their drones from there?" Olivia Mason nodded confidently. "If I can access their systems, definitely." The team fought their way to the computer core, a massive chamber filled with glowing data columns. Olivia immediately went to work, connecting her equipment to the alien technology. "Their computer language is surprisingly similar to ours," she muttered as her fingers flew across the keyboard. "Almost like we evolved from the same." Her voice trailed off as new information filled her screen. "Captain, you need to see this." Lisa looked at the data and felt her blood run cold. "Are you sure this is accurate?" "The translation is perfect," Olivia confirmed. "According to their records, the Draconians have done this before, to hundreds of worlds. They find developing species, attack them, and force them to adapt or die." "But why?" Lisa asked. "They're farmers, in a way," Olivia explained. "They seed the galaxy with challenges, forcing species to evolve. Then they return generations later to see which ones survived." On the bridge, Craftful watched the humans through security feeds. They had discovered the truth. His ancestors had visited Earth millions of years ago, pushing the early mammals to evolve better survival traits. The Draconians had done this throughout the galaxy, creating a hunting ground of worthy opponents. "The humans were our greatest success," he said quietly to Vex. "They evolved not just strength, but intelligence and adaptability." Vex looked at him in confusion. Then why attack them now? Because they're ready to join the galactic community, Craftful replied. But first, they must prove themselves. The ship rocked violently as another blast from the Defiant hit their weakening shields. Admiral, a warrior reported, the humans have taken control of our drones. They're turning them against us. Craftful stood tall. Seal the bridge. We will make our final stand here. Lisa's voice came through on the ship's communication system. Admiral Craftful, this is Captain Ward. Your ship is under our control. Your reinforcements will be met by our full fleet. Surrender now. The Admiral looked at the tactical display. More human ships were rising from Earth, all equipped with the frequency weapons. They had united against a common enemy with astonishing speed. They are magnificent, he whispered as he reached for the ship's self-destruct controls. The bridge doors exploded inward in a shower of metal and sparks. Lisa Ward entered first, her frequency weapon aimed directly at Admiral Craftful. Behind her came Major Kevin Phillips and Dr. Alan Rivera. Step away from the controls, Lisa ordered. Craftful's claw hovered over the self-destruct button. One press would destroy the flagship and everyone on it. His yellow eyes locked with Lisa's. You have proven yourselves worthy, he said. This isn't about being worthy, Lisa replied. This is about survival. Our survival. Craftful slowly moved his claw away from the button. For millions of years, we have tested species across the galaxy. Few have ever forced us to retreat. Kevin kept his weapon trained on the other Draconians. You killed millions of our people. And you adapted, Craftful said, faster than any species we have encountered. You turned our strengths against us. You studied us and found our weaknesses. Officer Vex moved slightly, and Kevin immediately aimed at her. She froze. Your people called for reinforcements, Lisa said. They'll be here in 3 days. Craftful's mouth curved in what might have been a smile. Yes, the Draconian High Command will not accept defeat. Dr. Rivera stepped forward. We've studied your ship's database. We know about your tests, how you push species to evolve through conflict. It is our purpose, Craftful explained. We ensure that only the strongest survive to reach the stars. Lisa shook her head. That's not how we do things. We believe in cooperation, not just competition. Yet you fought magnificently when threatened, Craftful observed. The ship trembled as more Earth vessels surrounded it. On Lisa's radio, Olivia reported that they had full control of the ship's systems. What happens now? Craftful asked. Will you exterminate us as we would have done to you? Lisa lowered her weapon slightly. No, we're going to offer you a choice. 3 days later, the Draconian reinforcement fleet arrived at Earth. They came prepared for battle, with 100 warships ready to avenge their defeated comrades. Instead, they found the Earth fleet waiting alongside Craftful's flagship. Admiral Craftful himself appeared on their communication screens. The test is complete, he announced. Humans have passed. The Draconian fleet commander looked confused. Passed. They are prey species. No, Craftful corrected. They are something new. They have the instincts of predators, but the cooperation of prey. They hunt like us, but they protect each other like the herd species. Lisa Ward stepped into view beside him. We are offering peace, not because we're weak, but because we're strong enough not to need constant war. In the weeks that followed, humans and Draconians established an uneasy truce. The invasion forces withdrew from Earth, but scientific and diplomatic teams remained to exchange knowledge. Dr. Rivera worked closely with Draconian scientists, learning about their genetic techniques and sharing human medical advances. Olivia Mason studied their ships, marveling at their technology, while teaching them about human innovations. 6 months after the invasion, Lisa Ward stood in the rebuilt United Nations building in New York. Before her sat representatives from Earth and 10 Draconian worlds. Today we signed the first Galactic Cooperation Treaty, she announced. Not as conquerors and conquered, but as equals. Admiral Craftful, now serving as the Draconian ambassador to Earth, approached the signing table. He had spent months learning about human culture, history, and philosophy. "Our species has known no fear for millennia," he said to the assembly. "Humans taught us that fear can lead to wisdom, that sometimes the strongest path is not conquest, but connection." As they signed the treaty, Kraftful looked at Lisa. "Your species may have evolved because of our ancestors' tests, but you have become something they never anticipated." "What's that?" Lisa asked. "Teachers," Kraftful replied. "For the first time, the predators have become students." Outside the United Nations, crowds of humans watched the ceremony on large screens. Children pointed excitedly at the draconian delegation. Where once there had been terror at the sight of the scaled aliens, now there was curiosity. The stars had brought Earth a terrible challenge. Humanity had not just survived it, they had transformed it into an opportunity that would forever change their place in the galaxy.